Hello and welcome to the Every Brain is Different podcast. I am Samantha Foote here with your Friday Five. Today we are talking about speech therapy. If you've ever wondered whether speech therapy could help your autistic or neurodivergent child, even if they're already talking, this episode is for you. So many people think that speech therapy is just for kids who can't talk or pronounce things incorrectly, but it's so much more than that. When we say speech therapy, we're actually talking about speech language therapy. They're called speech language pathologists. And speech therapy can include working on expressive language, which is what people say and how they say it. And then also receptive language, which is what people understand when others are talking. So if your kid has poor receptive language, they won't understand when you're talking to them. If you give them a direction to follow, they won't be able to follow that direction because they don't know what you're talking about. The next thing that speech language pathologists work on is, we already talked about receptive language, social communication, like knowing when to talk, when to listen, taking turns, and reading social cues. So this is all about social skills. And then articulation and fluency, which is how clearly people say sounds and words. And the last one is augmentative and alternative communication, or C. This can be using visuals or pictures or devices to help people communicate if they're unable to speak verbally or communicate in that way. So even if your child can speak, there's a lot more to communication than just words, obviously. Now let's talk about why this matters for neurodivergent kids like those with autism or ADHD. Neurodivergent brains often process language differently. They have communication differences. So this can show up as trouble understanding long or multi-step directions, getting stuck on a topic or not knowing when or how to jump into a conversation, and sensory overload that makes it hard to stay present in a conversation. Speech therapists don't just work on fixing speech, they help kids find ways to communicate that feel natural and comfortable for them. So the goal isn't to make your child sound a certain way, it's to help them connect with others in a way that works for them. So it's just doing things that will help them feel comfortable with their own self and then comfortable in communicating with other people so that they can have those social relationships and get done what they need done. And what to look for and how to support it at home. So, here are a few signs that speech therapy may benefit your child. They get frustrated when trying to express themselves. They're not hitting language milestones for their age. And keep in mind that milestones can vary. If your child isn't hitting the milestone at the exact right age, that's okay. They might be a little bit delayed, but it never hurts to get a speech and language evaluation just to see what you can be doing. But I wouldn't freak out if your child doesn't meet the milestone at the exact right time. Another sign that speech therapy may benefit your child is they have trouble answering questions or understanding what's being asked, or they struggle to interact with peers or join in on play. And then at home, there are some simple ways to support communication. If a speech therapy, that level of support isn't right, or you're not ready to pursue that, there are some things that we can do at home that can help our kid in their communication. The first one is to model language in a no pressure way. Talk to them and around them, even if they're not talking back. So just keep talking, just keep modeling that language. And then use visuals like charts, first, then boards, or pictures to help them understand what's next. The next one is pause and give extra time for them to respond. Many neurodivergent kids need more time to process and find their words, and so just giving them time to process what they want to say can really be beneficial. And the next one is celebrate their effort, not just the final words. Celebrate any effort they make in communication and just keep pushing them and celebrating their wins. If you're unsure whether speech therapy can help your child, getting an evaluation never hurts, like I talked about. It can give you clarity and some great insights into how to support your child. For example, my kids were evaluated for physical therapy once. The physical therapist said they didn't need it, but she gave me ideas on how to support them in areas where they weren't as strong. So a speech therapist can do the same thing for you and your child. Okay, thanks for listening today. That is the end. If you have more questions about communication differences, we talk all about them in our neurodivergent parenting community. You can go to everybrainisdifferent.com for more information about that, and I hope you have a great week.